Hey everyone, it's Shaz again. I've been able to start and scale an AI automation agency at the age of 22 to multi six figures a year. And today I'm going to share my thesis behind niching. I think there's two big types of niches that you could sort of go after. I'm going to show you how to go about each one, the pros and cons, and something that I've sort of flipped that's really helped me accelerate not only my income, but the amount of success I've been able to see for clients. So first of all, niching is huge. And see, this isn't even spelled right. Niching is absolutely massive. Like it is crucial that you niche down. And if you don't know where to start, I'll just draw out some boxes for you. The first thing that I want you to do is if you have no idea, you're like, Shaz, I have no idea how to niche down, pick this, familiarity. All right, that's number one. What are you familiar with? Have you been a realtor before? Have you been in the dental school before? Have you done digital marketing before? Have you run paid ads before? Go with familiarity. Next, if you don't have any familiarity, if you've literally never done anything in your life, which I guarantee you have if you really think about it, go with your interests. All right. What are you interested in? Are you interested in the real estate markets? Are you interested in the hedge fund markets? Are you interested in the trades like plumbing, electrician, all that stuff? Go with one, your familiarity. This should be the priority here. Things you're familiar with and you have a knowledge gap on. Think about it. If you're a real estate agent and you go into the real estate niche, you know more than I do because you're in real estate, right? So you could compete at a higher level. You know the lingo, you know the terminology, you know how people operate within that space. So go with familiarity. If you have nothing, if you have no experience, no familiarity, nothing, go with your interest. So at least you'll be inclined to learn more about the people that you're working with, all right? Because you don't want to go into something else you're not interested in. Familiarity and interest, they don't necessarily align. Like you can be in real estate and you can hate it at the same time, but familiarity still trumps everything because you have an advantage over the thousands of other people that are getting to the space every single day. So if you have no niche at all and you don't know where to start, go with familiarity. And then if nothing else, go with interest number two. But I'm not here to talk about that today. If you want a bigger breakdown on niche, let me know. I'm here to talk about service niche versus industry niche. There are two massive differences in these two things, and I'm going to go into them right now. So a service niche, by definition, is a niche in which you operate a service for. What does that mean? So you could do accounting services, right? Service niche. You could do accounting services across multiple different industries. You could do accounting for real estate agents. You could do accounting for content creators. You could do accounting for tax people. You could do accounting for any single industry almost, right? So that is a service niche. You are in the tax field and you could operate along borders of many industries. Have one service that operates across industries, all right? Now, what is an industry niche? Industry niche is not the same at all. It's actually one service for one industry or multiple services in one industry. So multiple services in one industry. Solve the gap. What does solve the gap mean? If you're in an industry niche, which I'm going to break down the pros and cons in a second, industry niche is essentially, hey, I'm all in on real estate and I could solve the whole gap. I could do accounting, I could do lead gen, I could do marketing, I could do sales, I could do team building, I could do AI callers, I could do AI receptionists, I could do everything in one industry. All right. Service niches, I could do one piece of a business across all industries. All right. What are the pros and cons here? Well, I'm going to first go into the pros and cons of the service niche. What are the pros? In my opinion, the pros here, you have a larger TAM. All right. TAM is total addressable market. If you're targeting accounting, there's millions of businesses. Almost every single business that's out there that's making money needs accounting services, meaning you have many more people to target. Right? That's a massive pro. You have many more people to target if you're doing a service niche. You can also charge more, all right? So because you're very, very specialized, all right? Another thing that is actually a con, now that I think about it, a con that's a pretty big one is run into scale issues eventually. All right, the reason you run into scale issues eventually is because if you're working for accounting, we're going to stick with that. If you're doing accounting for multiple different industries, if you're doing it for real estate and if you're doing it for, let's just say, insurance agencies, right? If you're doing insurance and real estate accounting, those two industries operate in insanely different standards. They have different tech stack, they have different lingo, they have different forms literally they have to do for their accounting. They have different people they have to talk to. They have different government rules they have to follow. So you're going to run into scale issues because you could do these projects, you can't scale these projects because they're not the same, all right? That's when, if we copy this over here, we go to industry. Industry has some really good pros, and the biggest pro I would probably say is scale. If you just work and you find an A to Z solution in the real estate industry, you could scale it because if you go to one real estate company and you go to a real estate company down the street, more likely they're using the same softwares, they speak the same lingo, they have the same tax rules, they have the same rules in general, they operate on the same parameters, right? That's a really big pro. You could scale very, very hard and very, very quick because you have that. Also, I should say, social proofing. All right. Again, if you were to kill it for one realtor and go down the street at another realtor or go to another city in the same state for another realtor, say, hey, I just worked on someone probably a 15-minute drive from here and I crushed it for them. I could do it for you guys too. Right? It's almost a no-brainer. Now, that's not as easy to do over here, right? It's very hard to say like, hey, I did accounting services for people in the finance industry. Can I do it for a real estate company? The real estate companies be like, hey, that's a much different industry, right? Respectfully. So you might run into issues there in terms of actual social proof. So I'm going to say it's harder to build social proof. All right. Now, con of industry niche is sort of inverse of what I said over there. You have a lower TAM. You have low total addressable market. All right. Also, susceptible. No, that's not spelled right. To competition plus AI workflows. All right. So, for example, there's something you have to be aware of pretty hard, actually, is if you're building A through Z solution for people in real estate. So you're doing an industry niche and that's what you're sticking with. If an AI solution comes along and replaces your entire workflow, you have no business because you're so niche down within the industry. You're on those softwares, you're building stuff within the lingo and terminology of that sort of real estate, right? You're building within that industry. If an AI software comes along or something else comes along and competition comes along, it gets harder to compete, right? For example, if something were to do over here, if you were to be in real estate and you're sort of in that service niche where you're targeting different services, if you're in real estate and that AI software comes along, cool, you could just pivot to the accounting in the finance sector or the accounting in the library sector, whatever, just random stuff. So that is another thing is you have to be very wary of competition and AI workflows. An AI agent might come in and replace the service that you're doing. And if you're in an industry niche, that's very, very tough because you have to rework the whole industry that you're targeting. In the service niche, you could just go take the same service and plug it into a different business. So the pros and cons here are both, weighed and they're both significant. I think you could crush it with both. I know the top agency owners around the world. I've spoken to hundreds of agency owners in the AI space, and people are doing both. People are industry specific. A lot of people are in real estate, and a lot of people are service specific. I do a service niche. Now, the reason for this is because I have a larger total addressable market, and the more markets I could conquer, the more money I can make. So I have my foothold in a bunch of different markets. I help AI agency owners themselves. I've helped people in the ads game. I've helped people in real estate. So I provide a same solution, which is content marketing and lead generation with AI. I provide that same solution across multiple different segments. And eventually you use the feedback that you get from a service niche and you pivot to the industry niche. All right. And you have what I call probably the final combination of both. So put C for combination. I'm getting a little drawing pad for you guys soon. It'll be much easier and I could go much more into depth on this stuff. Can't draw for shit on this mouse. But regardless, this is sort of the combination. So you work with all these industries. Maybe you do well for one, you don't do too well for the other. You like this one, you don't like this one. You keep on going. And eventually you take all the data you collected from the service niche and you pivot to an industry niche. Now you're in a combination where now you're doing one service for one niche, right? And that's the ultimate place you want to get. You want to get hyper specific, all right? It's called a T-shaped workflow. This is how you should shape and fit into the market. You should fit into the market in a T shape, meaning you fit right into a specific vertical, all right? You're not an L shape where you're sort of trying to cover multiple things, which would be, a service niche or an industry niche where you're trying to do multiple services within the industry. I know it gets a little complex sometimes. You have to be fit right into both a service and a niche, all right? Or service and a specific industry, I should say. So you should be doing accounting for real estate, and that is it, all right? Again, you are susceptible to being replaced and stuff, but you could build massive social proof and you could scale, ideally before competition and AI workflows kick in, right? So that's just a very quick breakdown of how I look at service niching versus industry niche. I think you could crush it with both. My recommendation, and I'll give you guys sort of a breakdown of where I would start with this stuff. My recommendation is, one, figure this stuff out above. If you need help with this, I have a really big training video coming on niche. Just comment niche down below and I'll get it to you guys. But first, start with something you're familiar with or interested in. Just start going, start marketing, start doing that stuff. I have some other raw videos on my channel about marketing and how I think it's the best thing you could possibly do yesterday. So start today. But start with a service niche, start working across multiple different industries, see what you're good at, see who you like, see who you're able to get results for, see how much you're able to charge for specific industries. Once you start to crush it for a specific niche, let's say you work with 5 different people, you start to crush it with one, then you can pivot to an industry niche and a specific service within an industry, and then that's your home, right? You want to be very, very small. You want to be very, very niche so you could build your social proof, and then you could charge more. You could become an authority figure, even if you're very niche, even if you're in accounting for real estate, like you're just doing one service for one industry. There's thousands of people that need your service, and you will be the go-to person in that space, the go-to AI person in XX space, blank, blank space, right? So that's sort of my take on service niche and industry niche. Hopefully this didn't go over anyone's heads. I know I sort of rushed through it a little bit. I think there's a massive distinction and there's massive confusion also between these two. And I think there's a lot of people that don't even realize that there are two things you could do. You can either target an industry or you can target a service across multiple industries, right? So choose wisely. This is the workflow I would do again. I'll go from service niche to industry niche over time. And then I would go from there. That's exactly what I did. I started with doing a bunch of random stuff for a bunch of different industries, then niche down to one industry like we're doing right now, which you can check out on my other main channel. It'll be linked down below. We also have an AI Launchpad you can check out down below. You could work with me directly and we could sort of talk about your offer and see how you're doing. So that is everything I have for you guys. If you want more raw videos just like this, I talk about marketing, offer creation, AI agency, what it's like running a business, how hard it is, the pitfalls I would avoid if I was just starting. My goal is just to save you guys time that I wasted. I wasted a lot of my life trying to figure this stuff out. So hopefully you guys don't have to do the same. That was another video. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.